even assisting anybody in any way, even offering to, I get pounded on. And then you look, and I'll just quote Kirpal Singh right here. Because they talk about, their spiritual progress. And 20 years, I come back 20 years later, it's the same ugly gait as 20 years before. You gotta slow it down, be a low rider like Emmett. Emmett has certain aspects down because of your genetics, I suppose, less excitable, less concerned about every little thing, If you touch Emmett's leg, I'm gonna kill you. Don't touch him.
Come here.
He's threatening to eat you.
I don't want him to touch me.
Do you want to be eaten?
Attracted to
Come here.
Do you want to be eaten? I'm gonna ask you a question now.
Damn.
Yes or no? She said, no, I'd rather not.
All she knows how to do is
You gotta watch out. In places like Miami, they would make her into steaks. I mean, it's possible. They do eat dogs. The Koreans.
Come here.
I never got into reading the Gita so far.
Well, it takes a long, long time to read the Bhagavad Gita. Are you looking at the one that says Bhagavad Gita as it is?
Yeah. Look,
As it is.
Yeah, the ones anyway.
By Swami Paraptata.
What I was thinking about, actually, because he brought it up, since you brought it up too, actually, the cow and how it used to be sacred. How much do you know about that?
Well, it's just religious shit that every religion accumulates. It's sacred only because it does so many things for the people of India. They get the butter. The butter calms you down. It's a calmative. Butter fat. That's what it does for the animals, all animals, and so they're eating the butter. They clarify it into ghee, the clear part. And that's a big. They keep it. They use it in cooking. They always have pots of it or whatever. So that, and the fact that they get milk, and the cows do work, and they decorate them like crazy. You probably noticed they got all kinds of decorations on all their different cows, and they use that same herd of cows to trample a whole bunch of Muslims. They made the Muslims lay down in the road, and then they cheerfully ran like 50 or 60 head of cattle, just walked right over them as they're laying on their stomachs. They forced them with sticks to lay down in the road. And I saw this video. In other words, it's all a bunch of shit. It doesn't matter. I only look at, I have enough every day. The satsangs that I hear are an actual saint actually talking. This is a billion miles above any of the other stuff that people do or think or whatever. That's their culture, keeps them together as a family. It keeps them protected from the world, but it doesn't take them up. It's just rituals and rites and punditry. That's the whole point that they make every day. All we're doing is punditry. It's a time that you spend actually as close as you can to deep meditation. Keep working on that.
But what is meditation?
It's completely withdrawing from any awareness of having a body at all and just sitting here as being, which at which point here is everything going on in all directions.
What point
that being can see in any direction or anything. It's withdrawing to your actual self is what meditation is. Everybody talks about, I want to meditate on that. And that's nothing at all to do.
So withdrawing from the senses.
They go into samadhi, they go into trance. They're not aware of anything around them. They don't care.
So after that.
They could be aware of it or not aware of it at all, but they don't feel like they're in the body. They could still be aware of the surroundings.
So how can you be in constant
there's no connection to the body itself. Huh?
Well, because they speak of living meditation. So how is that possible if you're withdrawing from your senses?
Living meditation?
Right. Eventually the whole point is to be there all the time, right?
Yeah, but that could take 25 lifetimes. The saints are in all planes all at once. The saints are in all 7 planes simultaneously.
I'm just talking about meditation.
Anybody else can only be on one or the other. So if you go into the astral world, which is bright and colorful and exciting and lit, then you become less aware of this world. It's like a whole other plane.
But living, because meditation has stages, right? So
yeah. Lots. You wouldn't believe. Like if I gave you exact foot-by-foot directions to walk to Ohio, okay, suppose I wrote down every single thing from here to the University of Ohio in Akron, okay? Every turn. You know, warning, gas station on your left, and
That'd be
something.
really helpful.
Watch the light, it's not working right. Every
So you
single
could
thing,
severe
okay.
it.
Just as complicated and precise are the directions they give to navigate the inner worlds. But that's not all. The last few stages that they described, you couldn't do even with directions. They come and take you physically by the hand. But they tell you, we're going to go down to a dark tunnel and up into a field of golden light. And you're going to see a shimmering lake right in front of us. That's the Daswandar.
You should go see it later, please.
So that's a, precious information. But I just thought of I told that to Tanner, I think,
Why would you tell that to Tanner?
because I talked to him about it. We talk about things.
Yeah.
Tanner comprehends. He's at a certain point, I think, that not everybody is. They just don't want to really discuss it. But unfortunately, you have to discuss it. At first, you need right instruction, followed by right understanding, followed by right action. And every day that involves throwing in the garbage everything you did and thought or owned. Starting from this minute backwards. You have to start all over. White Wedding by Billy Idol. I've even written down hundreds of songs and told people, and they've been 10 years. I've given them 25 or 30 songs over the 10-year period. But then I looked 10 years later and I said, it doesn't matter. You can take one or the other, like advice or quotation. It's a question of taking it deeply. That's the component key. And what they don't do is take it deeply, because the reason is unknown to them. They're not really aware. They're being distracted by lots and lots of other things. And that's why they don't stop for that extra few seconds it takes to think about it. If I was like 35 or 40, what I would do is I'd spend the next 3 months every day, all day, and every night until I went to bed, for 3 months straight, figuring out what the fuck I'm doing here. Instead of wandering all over tarnation, getting nothing done at all, and actually winding up poorer and poorer as time goes on.
It's true though. It's scary, but true.
But it's only true if you make it
Yeah.
reality of your
You're
life.
right, you're right.
Until then, it's just talking.
Yep.
The demons have wonderful conversations with each other,
Yep.
but the soul doesn't even need to be involved. That's what you got to
soul,
pay
so how
attention to.
divided-
Is the soul involved? It doesn't matter where you've been as long as it was deep.
Yep. And I'm always deep.
So meditation is withdrawing.
Maybe.
Can you walk in meditation form, meaning you're always in a meditation state while you're in the
That's
form
what
of
I'm
a
asking
human?
for.
Yeah,
Meaning nothing.
of course.
So how
That's
do you
what I'm
withdraw
trying to
Definitely.
get. That's what I'm
There
trying
are
to get.
people that started chanting and they wound up walking 18 kilometers past where they were going to turn by accident. They didn't even care. And they said, you want to ride back? And he goes, no, I'll just walk. I'll go back on the same power I got here with me.
Yep.
This is in India. It's like 138
I
degrees.
walk meditation
So
form.
that's meditation.
138 degrees and the guy's walking like 18 kilometers too far. Doesn't even notice. I wonder if
You
I
ever
walk-
heard? Hey, Mike. You ever heard of what's called a meditation lifestyle? Meaning you live by meditation rules.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
I'm on a chillax style.
Really, please stop.
You know,
I'm trying to figure
this is
out
my
something.
chillax
Yeah.
life. I'm not on a party crazy style. I left that style. My next form is a meditation form lifestyle. So I won't be doing this. I'll be
Here's what
meditating.
Sawan Singh said about us. There was this donkey, and he was grazing in a tobacco field, and the people walking by said, "Donkey, why are you eating the pale, thin green leaves when all these big, dark green leaves are all right around you?" The donkey said, Sawan Singh said this. He told this to a huge crowd. You guys see the picture of the crowd. It must have been 25,000 people. That's where we got it. Huge crowd. They walked across the desert on bikes, carts. 8 miles on the sand. He said, well, I heard, the donkey said, I heard that if you use tobacco, you'll have to come back here as a donkey. And as you could see, I am already a donkey.
Yeah.
So Simon Singh told this, and if you understand, thanks. That's all they're going to do for you all day long is pound on you. They're not going to tell you you're great. Okay? James Singh came back from the army. He had a master that only took him 2/5 of the way. He would only tell him a little bit of the chant to get him up to the astral plane, but he wouldn't tell him anything about going any further. He wasn't allowed.
So the
But he
chants
told
are
him.
the
But he
secret.
told him he'd be meeting Sawan Singh and Kirpal Singh later, and he predicted. He told him that, but he said it's not me. Somebody's going to come for you all by himself. And Kirpal Singh showed up at a Jabe's door one time. But anyway,
You never told us the chant.
all right. So anyway, so Jabe comes up back from the army on leave, and he's going to give his master lots more money than usual because he's been like a month on a deployment, right? So he gives him the money. The master reaches out and slaps him extra hard, Okay. extra hard. And the Jabe Singh's telling about this. And he goes, you can imagine this. This is so weird. I'm so excited. Instead of giving him 40 rupees, I'm giving him 300 rupees, you know, and I hand him, look, 300 rupees, you know, and he reaches out and he pounds me on the face like this. And he knows why. That's why he succeeded as a singer. He knows why. Because if I gave you $300 and that'd be something wrong with me inside about that, okay? Like, oh, look what I'm doing for him. He needs to fix his car, and I just happen to have $300 on him. Yeah, I'm being so cool. You know, that little bit of that, the master sees that and pounds you. Another time he came back from the army, and they all had beads woven into their beards.
And he ripped out the beads.
Yeah. The hair and all, buddy.
Like, how long are we going to do this, man? So,
Well,
what's the secret?
that's his teaching in India at the time, 1950s.
No, actually, I'm happy to hear you say it over and over. To be honest.
So Kirpal Singh is there at his birthday. Russell Perkins, my friend from New Hampshire, was there. He was the scribe. And he said, Master was sick as a dog. His 75th birthday. And he can't get out of it because there's over 50,000 people from all over the world sitting in front of him want to hear him speak. So he says, there's another saint we know about. My friend was actually a disciple of his.
Oh my goodness.
He did this thing called Happy, Holy, Healthy. And I can't think of the saint's name, but it was a lower level saint. Anyway, so Kirpal Singh has him up on stage and has him address the people most of the time, and they're having just a conversation with each other about stuff without even indicating they know there's an audience. They're just on stage having a conversation that everybody's listening to. Two saints together, and I don't know what they said. I never read it. But Russell Perkins goes, he's 75, he's sick as a dog today. There's 50,000 people that are attending his birthday party in Mandala. And I've never seen him glowing so totally blissed as sitting up there on stage, hardly saying a word to anybody except just to talk to each other. And he's sitting in the front row, of course, Russell Perkins. And I'm thinking, like, I was telling that to Tanner, the reason was that's how you realize things sometimes. And I said, so here I am feeling shitty. And Tanner, I told him, and I said, it's all Dimitri's fault. And I can't get back at him. So I'll have to come to the Lamb Center and suffer like this. And I thought, well, if Kirpal Singh could do that, I could make it for some free food and free laundry and a free shower.
Hey, come here.
I didn't really
Come
tell him
here.
it was your fault, but he probably knew it.
Come here.
He never gets tired of this. Instead of saying, come on, and the dog immediately comes.
Look, the leash is caught up in the leg.
See, the difference is I had a totally
Oh my
different kind of dog, okay?
You know they got, never mind, I won't even say
I
that.
gotta
won't
say,
even
wait, I
put
gotta
that energy
defend
out there.
Dimitri. It's part of the reason is I had a totally different kind of dog.